Ever catch yourself thinking about those stories? You know, the ones we tell about how everything came to be.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're diving deep into a creation myth from Kabir's Der Anurag Sagar.
Ah, yes.
The ocean of love. Pretty evocative, right?
It is.
We're going to unpack some of its symbolism, see if it can give us a new perspective on, well, our own lives, really.
It's a fascinating tale full of twists and turns.
Sounds promising.
What makes it even more interesting is that it comes from Kabir.
Oh, right. The 15th century mystic and poet?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're not just dealing with some, folk tale here.
No, not at all.
This is a story that's been thought about and debated for centuries.
Exactly. And there's a lot to unpack.
I'm ready. Where do we even begin?
Let's start with Dharam Rai and Niranjan.
Okay, those names sound familiar from your notes. Who are they in this whole creation story?
You can think of Dharam Rai as the embodiment of creative energy, the spark that sets everything in motion.
Okay, I'm with you.
She's often interpreted as representing Shakti, the feminine principle in Hindu traditions.
Shakti. Okay, and what about Niranjan? I mean, the name itself, it's intriguing.
Oh, it is. He's a fascinating figure. Niranjan represents this, primordial consciousness.
Primordial consciousness.
Yeah, a being of immense spiritual power.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting. He decides to retreat.
Retreat? From what?
He retreats into the cave of space consciousness.
Cave of space consciousness. Wow.
Leaving Dharam Rai to kind of, start the whole creation process.
So he's taking a step back.
It's almost as if he's stepping back from the canvas, right? Letting the masterpiece unfold.
I kind of like that. What do you think the significance of this retreat is, though?
Well, some scholars see it as this, unseen source of all creation.
Okay.
The silent potential from which everything emerges.
I can see that.
Others interpret it as a form of detachment.
Oh, like a state of pure being.
Yes, exactly. A state that comes before action, before things manifest.
Do you ever notice that sometimes our most creative ideas come when we, step away from a problem?
It's true.
When we give ourselves the space to just be. Maybe this retreat is like a cosmic nod to the power of stillness.
I like that connection. And speaking of connections, Niranjan and Dharam Rai have 3 sons.
3 sons. Okay. This is starting to sound like a family drama. Are we about to get into some cosmic soap opera here?
Well, maybe not a soap opera.
Okay.
But these sons, they're definitely more than just siblings.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Go on.
They personify the 3 gunas.
Gunas. Okay, I feel like we just stumbled upon something important here, but can we back up a bit? What are gunas?
Absolutely. Imagine them as these, qualities or energies that are always interacting in the universe and even within us.
Okay.
So we have Brahma, the creator. He embodies sattva.
Brahma, sattva.
Right, and sattva is, purity, balance, harmony. Then there's Vishnu, the preserver.
Okay.
He represents rajas, action, passion, dynamism.
Rajas, got it. And the third son?
That would be Mahesh, also known as Shiva.
Shiva the destroyer.
Exactly. He embodies tamas,
Tamas.
inertia, darkness, and also dissolution.
So when we talk about creation and destruction, we're not talking about good versus evil.
That's a really important point. Kabir challenges us to think beyond those simple binaries.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
It's not about morality. These gunas, they're more like forces of nature that are constantly shaping and reshaping reality.
That makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. I mean, even in nature, things have to be broken down.
Right.
For new life to emerge. It's a cycle.
Precisely. And just like in nature, these gunas are at play within each of us all the time.
It's not like Brahma is out there creating the world in isolation then.
No, not at all.
It's happening within us too.
Exactly. We each have our moments of sattva, those times of serenity and clarity.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Then we have bursts of rajas, that energy and ambition.
Definitely been there.
And of course, we also have times of tamas where we withdraw, reflect.
So recognizing these forces, these gunas within ourselves.
That can be incredibly insightful.
Yeah, I bet it can. But I'm also really curious to hear what happens next in the story.
Of course. Well, you remember how Niranjan retreated to the cave of space consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
While he's away, his sons decide to embark on a rather ambitious project.
Okay. And what would that be?
They decide to churn the ocean.
Churn the ocean. Now that's where I need your help.
Of course.
Because my imagination can only stretch so far. What's the meaning behind churning the ocean?
Okay, so picture this. The ocean represents this vast primordial soup. It's the state before creation, pure potentiality.
Okay, a blank slate.
Exactly. A sea of possibilities, just waiting to be stirred into existence.
I like that imagery.
And the churning itself. Well, that symbolizes the dynamic, sometimes chaotic process of creation.
So it's not about some divine workout routine.
No, not at all.
It's more about the energy, the dynamism inherent in the creative process itself.
You got it.
So what happens? What comes from all of this cosmic sea churning?
As they churn, 14 extraordinary treasures emerge.
14. What kind of treasures are we talking about?
Each one symbolizes a different aspect of manifested reality.
Oh, wow. Give me some examples.
Jewels of wealth, power, even immortality.
Immortality. Sounds like they hit the cosmic jackpot. But I have a feeling, knowing these stories, that there's a catch.
You're right. It wouldn't be a very good story without a catch, would it?
Exactly. So what is it?
Alongside all those incredible treasures, the churning also brings up hala hala.
Hala hala, what is that?
It's a poison. And not just any poison. This one is so potent, it could destroy everything.
Of course, there's always a catch.
Yeah.
So what do they do with this universe-ending poison? Do they manage to stuff it back into the cosmic cookie jar or something?
Well, this is where Shiva steps in, the embodiment of Tamas.
Okay.
He consumes the poison.
Consumes it?
Yes. He holds it in his throat. And his throat, it turns blue as a result.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
It is.
A powerful image of self-sacrifice, highlighting how even in the abundance of creation, there's always a shadow side.
A price to pay.
Exactly.
I guess it's like they say, no pain, no gain, right? Even on a cosmic scale. But to willingly take on that poison, to hold it within himself like that.
It's pretty intense.
It says something, doesn't it?
It does.
About his capacity for compassion.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that even what we might think of as, negative or destructive, it still has its place.
In the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all part of a larger balance.
Yeah.
And, this brings us to a really crucial concept that's woven into this whole myth.
Okay, I'm listening.
Maya.
Maya. That word always feels kind of, shimmering, like it has all these different meanings.
It does.
How does this idea of illusion fit into this story we're talking about?
Well, think back to those 14 treasures.
The ones from the churning.
Exactly. They're tempting, right?
Yeah.
Alluring. And each one represents something, some aspect of worldly desire.
Okay, so like wealth.
Wealth, power, even the promise of immortality.
Right. All those things that people chase after.
Exactly. Maya's that tendency to get so caught up in those treasures.
Okay.
In the allure of the material world that we forget about, the bigger picture.
I see. We lose sight.
We lose sight of those deeper truths of existence.
It's almost like those sons, caught up in all the excitement of churning the ocean. They kind of forgot about their dad.
It's a good analogy.
Just chilling in that cave of space consciousness.
They got so focused on these external rewards.
It makes you think, what are the jewels that we chase after in our own lives?
It's a great question.
Is it that promotion, that perfect relationship? Or maybe, that Instagram-worthy vacation?
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in those things.
It is. But I guess the bigger question is, are we willing to look beyond the surface? Beyond how shiny those things appear, and ask ourselves, are these things actually what matter?
That's the heart of it, isn't it? Kabir would definitely want us to ask ourselves those questions, because there's another character in this myth, one we haven't talked about yet, who embodies change and impermanence.
Oh, okay. Who are we talking about?
His name is Kal.
Kal.
He's often associated with time, death, that cycle of birth and rebirth.
So the suns represent the gunas?
Right.
Those fundamental forces.
Yes.
And Kal represents something just profound.
Exactly. But as always, Kabir challenges us to think beyond simple labels.
Okay, I'm sensing a but coming.
It's easy to see Kal as a negative force.
Like the embodiment of decay, the end of everything. It's kind of hard not to.
Of course. It's natural to fear those things. But just like with those destructive forces in nature, Kal's not inherently evil.
So how should we understand him then?
Think of him as embodying the truth that everything changes.
Everything changes.
Everything is in flux, a constant dance of arising and, passing away.
It's like the seasons, right?
Exactly.
We have spring, summer, then autumn where everything falls away.
Yes.
Then the stillness of winter. And we don't, begrudge winter for coming,
We appreciate each season for what it is. And maybe, just maybe, understanding Kal can help us make peace with the fact that our own lives are impermanent.
That's a big one.
It's about finding beauty in those cycles, the cycles of creation and destruction that at first might seem scary.
It's a different way of looking at things for sure.
It is. And remember, we've talked about this before. Creation myths aren't meant to be taken literally.
Right, they're more like metaphors.
Exactly. They give us a new way of looking at our own lives, a symbolic language to understand things.
So if we bring it back to us, to our own personal journeys, what does it even mean to churn our own oceans?
I love that question. It's about looking at how we're actively shaping our realities. The choices we make, the risks we take, even the challenges we face, they're all part of it.
It's not just about those big life decisions then.
No, not necessarily.
It's the everyday stuff too.
It all adds up.
The little choices we make, how we deal with those daily frustrations.
Exactly.
The stories we tell ourselves about ourselves.
It's all contributing to that inner churning.
And I guess what you're saying is that just like those 14 jewels that emerge from the churning of the ocean, we have those hidden depths too.
We do. We all do.
We discover new strengths when we're tested.
Exactly.
We find talents we never knew we had.
We learn so much from our experiences.
It makes you wonder, what are our jewels? What's hidden inside each of us waiting to be discovered?
Now, that's a question worth pondering.
I like it. It's a good one.
Maybe it's that passion project you've been putting off.
Yeah.
That creative spark you've ignored for too long.
Or maybe it's something, I don't know, simpler. Like realizing our strength comes from, facing the churning.
Learning to ride the waves, so to speak.
Not just trying to avoid the rough waters altogether.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really important insight.
And it actually makes me think about Maya again.
Oh, how so?
Well, we talked about Maya being this illusion, right?
That tendency to chase after things that can't truly satisfy us.
So maybe part of this whole churning our own ocean thing is about learning to see through those illusions.
I like that. To recognize when we're seeking fulfillment in the wrong places.
Exactly. And to be brave enough to let go of things,
Like
those attachments that are holding us back.
Even if it means being uncomfortable for a bit.
Yeah, even if it means stepping into the unknown.
Because that's often where the real growth happens.
When we step outside of our comfort zones.
Exactly. It's like those suns emerging from the churning. They faced the chaos head on.
And came out changed.
Transformed by the experience.
It's like Kabir is saying, hey, it's okay to not have it all figured out.
We're always learning.
Always growing, changing.
It's a process. This whole journey of being alive.
And within that journey, there will be moments of creation, for sure.
Yes.
Moments of destruction.
Of course.
And those essential moments of quiet.
Where we can finally connect with, that deeper truth within.
Beautifully said. It's been amazing exploring all of this with you.
It's been a pleasure.
And to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought, something to chew on as you navigate your own life. Remember that the ocean of this world, it's still churning. And you're a part of it. What treasures are you uncovering?